No matter how much we learn, we're only just barely. So you do. Thank you. This will directly aid our research.
You should inspect your ship for heat leeches every couple minutes.
Nice. Clean sip there.
Discretion in this matter. If you are willing and able, please see me as soon as possible at the main security office in Paradiso. Over and out.
never grow weary of seeing places like this.
Greetings. Captain, hello. I am satisfied to see that you survived your most recent sleep cycle. I do not perceive the loss of human life in the same manner, so I do not believe I am affected in the way you are asking. I have, however, noted a likely 19% drop in efficiency in Constellation achieving its current goals. While unlikely to prevent the completion of our mission, it should be taken into account as we proceed. It is likely this decrease in efficiency will improve with time as Constellation's members proceed through the grieving process. I will, as always, continue to evaluate the situation and provide an updated analysis as necessary. Farewell.
And welcome back, Mr. Tofik. I am aware that... This is your 8th visit to our resort. Your... Repeat patronage is much appreciated. Is there any assistance I may offer you today?
Actually, a question. Usually, when I come here, the shuttle takes a certain route, showing me the beauty of this world. But this time, our entries seem to take longer, and we pass by a lot more water. Is there something wrong with our normal flight path? I heard rumors of a ship in order.
Please allow me to apologize for this inconvenience. This alternate entry was required due to a meteor shower affecting the usual descent route. Nothing to worry about. To make up for this, allow me to credit your account with a 15% discount on spa amenities. Once again, we are dreadfully sorry.
It's okay, Viator. I know you're programmed to be overly concerned with your service. I just wanted to know why. But thank you for crediting my account anyway.
This is your first time here. Thank you for choosing Paradiso for your vacation destination.
Hey, I noticed you arriving at port shortly after I did. Something's been bothering me, and I've been dying to ask another guest. They told us there was a very active meteor shower, which is why we had to divert our flight path coming in for our landing. But I haven't seen a single shooting star since I've been here. That's weird, right? You're probably right. I've just been feeling stressed as of late, and worrying about something silly like that will only make it worse. I should just relax here and let Paradiso melt away my worries like it always does. Thank you for grounding me.
Don't worry about us. We're just here to keep the peace.
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro Sugiyama at your service. Do you have a security concern, or is there something else I can help you with? Neither. We're our own private force. The Paradiso group pays top dollar for top-notch security. And I dare say we're some of the best in the business. We have to be out here on the fringes of the settled systems. Honestly, it's not as exciting as you might think most of the time. More often than not, we're just handling drunk and disorderly conduct. Heck, even pirates leave us alone for the most part. I think it's because some of them actually vacation here. As long as they're not bothering anyone, we've been told not to worry about them. Ah, yes, of course. I'm glad you came. As you can imagine, we're in a bit of a predicament. Under normal circumstances, we would not enlist outside help in this manner. But this is a matter we can't afford to worry our guests about. As such, we need to handle this discreetly. Failure on your part to do so could have severe consequences. So, before we proceed, can you swear not to discuss this with anyone else unless explicitly directed to do so? Great. I appreciate it. Not too long ago, a strange and enormous ship appeared in Parima space. It is now locked in orbit around our planet. So far, it doesn't seem to be hostile, but any attempts to communicate with it have been in vain, so we're unsure of the ship's intentions. Can't say for sure. Looks worn, but not cobbled together like a Crimson Fleet junker. Others have been saying it's some new Varun design, a gigantic battleship with hidden armaments preparing for assault, but that doesn't check out either. There's also been talk about non-human sentient life. The comms data we received might support that, but humanity's spread far and wide and no one's ever encountered anything like that. Still, first contact. Could you imagine? Not quite. It took some time, but we received a transmission. It was all, pardon the phrasing, it sounded almost alien, like nothing anyone's heard before. Clicks, distorted groans, buzzing, really disturbing sounds. Now, one of our engineers says it could just be some busted comm equipment or incompatible signals, but we're not sure. So far, no one's disembarked from the ship. No landing craft, nothing. We don't have the staff or ships to spare, otherwise we'd dock with it and attempt to board. It bears no discernible markings or allegiances to any manufacturers we're aware of. I'm hoping that doesn't mean we're dealing with some sort of new deep space threat. It is. Whatever's going on, we need to approach this with care. First, see if you have more luck communicating with them. If not, you may have to try boarding. Whatever you do, it's important to remember to seek diplomacy with who or whatever's on board. As soon as you have any more information, report to Oliver Campbell. He's the CEO of Paradiso. All formal decisions will need to go through him, and he'll have your pay. Good luck.
Your safety is our #1 priority.
Whew. Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Pressure holding. Take off course mode. We're locking into orbit now.
whatever it is hostile.
I agree with the captain. Now is the time for diplomacy.
Agreed. But we must be ready for it. Now, eyes in earshot.
You're human. It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
You thought you were the only ones? I am afraid you have been unaware of a great many things.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
You've come aboard the Earth colony ship Constant. Generations ago, we set forth from the planet Earth with the mission of colonizing a new habitable world in the spirit of our ancestors nearly a millennium ago. I don't know all the particulars, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a colony ship. It was built long ago by our ancestors to sustain our crew over hundreds of years in space through generations of travelers. It's sturdy, fast, and spacious. That last one is important because we had to take as many supplies as possible with us on the journey and still have ample space for our crew. I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by... well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and... the others. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us lived long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't compatible with theirs. All we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first. Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge. Dr. da Costa, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am, for security purposes.
I do not believe we have need to fear our guest, but I'll allow it if you insist. Welcome to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened. So, he gathered the best and brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason. We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
So,
I am both shocked and impressed that all of this is still functional.
We didn't believe anyone would be out here, but I'm glad for it. Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made. A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly. Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you? We suspect that our equipment is woefully obsolete compared to whatever you all have now. In all honesty, we never expected to need to communicate with anyone, so our comms aren't particularly robust. That limits our options. We even attempted communicating with lights and sounds, something we saw in an old movie, but I don't believe they picked up on it. If anything, it may have inadvertently alarmed them. Ah, so they have a name. Paradiso. And it sounds promising that they sent you here to speak with us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. When we left Earth, there were no claims to planets this far out into space. We had assumed that we were the only ones attempting a generational journey such as this, meaning that there would be no need for a formal claims process. Regardless, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, did manage to file a charter for this planet's first colony, to be named New Jamestown. According to his records, no one took it seriously when he filed it, so likely it was either ignored or the records were lost to the ages. Given humanity's lack of interest in colonizing the far reaches of space at the time, it shouldn't have been a problem, but again, here we are now. Based on the data our ancestors had when they launched this endeavor, it was determined that this was the perfect planet for us. Even if we had another viable candidate planet, we lack the resources to get there. And as you know, it took us 200 years to get here. Our people have no desire to go back to drifting the stars so their children's children can possibly settle on an inferior planet. Yes, of course. But we need to start from a firm position and state our goal. If need be, we can compromise, work out a mutually beneficial deal or some such, but initially I'd like you to be firm with them and convince them to leave the planet to us. Let me know how they respond, and we'll go from there. We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people. Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilizations spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely close to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world. I'm serious. We have a rightful claim to this land, and I intend to fight for it. But as you're currently our only hope, perhaps you'll honor my request and give it your all, for the sake of some very weary travelers who have come a very long way to be here. Thank you.
I know Captain Brackenridge has essentially given you free rein to wander the ship, but security will still be watching you closely. I hope you understand, given we have so little experience with people from the outside. It pays to take security seriously, something I understand much better now than in my youth.
Now that we know what's out there, things are going to be more interesting from here on out.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers. Careful waving that fancy gun around. We don't need to see what it can do.
Wow, you're new? Weird. Okay, wasn't expecting this. I guess I should introduce myself? I'm Janet. What's up? Oh, you? Oh, well, nice to meet you, I guess. I could take a break to chat if you want. Certainly not what I want to do. I mean, I hate this job, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I'm the cultivation manager. Fancy words for farmer and fertilizer collector. I didn't have a choice. Most people don't. You get a job, and that's it. Like, I'm great at what I do, but I would enjoy doing literally anything else. Meanwhile, my sister Julia, she gets to hang out with kids all day and watch movies. The kids I couldn't care less about, but she doesn't even care about Earth culture. Ugh. Oh my god, it's terrible. I don't know how my parents did it, knowing they would never, ever get to leave until they died. Every day, you see exactly the same things. The same people do the same job. It's all the same. All the time. Seriously, the only thing that kept me going was knowing that we were the generation who knew we'd finally get the hell out of here. Although now that we're here, nothing seems to be happening. Sometimes I wonder if my sister was the lucky one. Ah, so you've met her. No, not Julia. Julia and I were actually triplets with our sister Jen, but the ship ran out of one of her medications and she didn't make it. Sucks, but it is what it is. We only have so many supplies, we couldn't exactly get anything new along the way. Anyway, it happened a long time ago. I don't really feel that she's lucky. I'm just frustrated. Later.
Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any ships.
Sure is nice to know there are other people out there.
Boy, am I glad you weren't
Such a long time to survive on only the foods that can be grown here. I suppose being a picky eater was not an option.
The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change that. Hi.
I don't have much to spare, but if you are ever injured, I will try my best to help. Wait, how is it I don't know you? I know everyone on this ship. Oh my. Yes, of course. Sorry, I was with a difficult patient when the announcement came through. But now I remember. They sent my husband, Mabuti, to greet you. It's quite fortunate that you arrived when you did, for Mabuti's sake. Hopefully you can help resolve our current predicament. There isn't, at least not in the medical sense. Since he was one of the eldest on board, he was ready to volunteer for termination. Thankfully, since you've arrived, that no longer seems necessary.
Termination? You mean...
It means that he was going to volunteer his own life for the sake of the others on this ship, due to limited spaces and supplies. Like the others, his life would then be honored with special distinction and recorded for history. Rarely we had to make difficult choices when no one would volunteer. But Mabuti, he's too generous to let that happen. I certainly hope so, too. It shouldn't.
It does seem to be resolved, thankfully. A shame that there is not more to discuss.
Boy, am I glad you weren't some sort of alien or something.
Careful waving that fancy gun around. We don't need to see what it can do.
Just because our equipment's old, doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
I do not envy the lives that have been led in these confined quarters.
Whatever he gets. Do you know how many times he saved the lives of everyone on board? Wow. I've heard about you.
If there is ever anything you need from me, I will do my best to help. I'm a doctor and a counselor. I assist my wife Lorelei in performing minor medical duties, but I also practice psychology and help maintain our crew's mental health. I know it must seem strange to you. I am not a captain, nor am I a security guard. But I was brought along for a very specific reason. The captain trusts me to de-escalate situations. Pardon me saying, but we did not know who you were or what your intents were. So, Captain Breckenridge wanted me to come along as a friendly face and keep the conversation amicable. I am glad that you were peaceful, and my role was as limited as it was. Thank you. Life on a colony ship has its ups and downs, as you can probably imagine. I tend to look on the bright side of things, however. To the best of our knowledge, we were on a critical mission, saving the human race from extinction. That notion was always with us, and it instilled a sense of pride and duty. Sure, the living quarters could be considered cramped, and we could go nowhere else. But we also had near-endless time with friends and loved ones. I suppose as I get on in years, I have learned to appreciate that more than anything. Yes, our daughter is now pregnant with our second child, and the constant is at capacity. It is the duty of the old to make way for the young. It is how we have survived. There is a small chance that if we cannot resolve this issue with the settlement below in time, I may need to follow through and do what is right for all of us. I doubt it will come to that, because you have brought us hope. But nothing is guaranteed. I am at peace with that, as my parents were before me. Lorelei is, of course, not pleased. She can be a little stubborn. But, as she is also the one to carry out the procedure, it is understandable. That is most likely true, but I feel as if I must mentally prepare myself for the worst, just in case. It is how I cope and remain at peace. But, ultimately, I believe you are right. Now that people know we are here, it's difficult to imagine a scenario where such a thing would be necessary. Be well on your journey.
Sure is nice to know there are other people out there.
Hey there.
Wow. Hi.
So much to do.
I do not envy the lives that have been led in these confined quarters.
Oh, hi! Hello! You're the alien, the person that came from out there, in space, that we weren't expecting at all. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Can we start this over? I'm fine. I will be. It's just my nerves acting up. This has just gotten everyone so stressed, and since I'm here to help people deal with problems like that, it piles on me. Abe, I'm scared. Abe, what if we can't get down to the surface? Abe, what are we gonna do? And so on and so forth. I've never had to deal with so much anxiety before, and I'm a pretty anxious guy to begin with. Just ask my husband. Yeah, calming down. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. I'm Abe Levitz. Abe Levitz. I'm the cabin manager here, so if there's anything you need during your stay, I'm happy to accommodate. Please do, even if you just want to schmooze. People didn't know what to think. Here we are, minding our own business out in deep space, all alone. Then we hear some sort of garbled transmissions on the radio, real screechy, real inhuman sounding stuff. Then you show up? People had all sorts of fakakta theories, aliens, time travelers, you name it. We watch a lot of old movies, so... Anyway, it spooked the bejesus out of us because we were expecting to find nobody. Ah! Glad you asked! I coordinate cabin maintenance, plan activities, even help settle domestic disputes. It's a demanding job, but in short, I'm here to keep people happy. I try to keep both the kids and adults entertained. Scavenger hunts, sing-alongs, fun little art projects, you name it. We also have regular media nights where a historian, Julia Yang, screens old movies, plays music, and exposes us to other Earth media.
I know you feel obligated.
Me? Hey, well, there's not much to say. I take care of people here. I live with my husband, Daisuke, no kids. We passed on having a surrogate so others could have larger families. Instead, I get to spend time with everyone and their families here. They call me their bubby because I'm like the grandmother they never had. I may have had something to do with that nickname. Oh? Oh, you must mean the Yiddish. It's an old old family tradition. The Levitts have been trying to keep it alive for hundreds of years now. See, we didn't think the language would survive if we didn't, so we charged ourselves with preserving it. It's a point of pride for our family, and something I'd like to pass on to others so they don't forget. Like my great-great-great-great-grandmother's latke recipe. See you later, I hope.
I wonder what else is out there.
Hey.
I've lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure.
Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any ships before you arrived.
I wonder what it's like out there beyond the middle community.
Just stay out of trouble. We got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason. These are exciting times.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outsiders.
Come here for a little R&R, huh? Me too.
We try to stay out of the guests' way, but we're always here if needed.
I was worried about...
I can see why this location was chosen for a resort. Very nice.
Oh, I got sand in my shoes again. Oh, I mean, hi. Sorry.
Paradiso Security's only here for your safety. Pretend we're not even here.
Welcome to Paradiso.
I cannot recall ever having the time, let alone the funds, for a vacation someplace like this.
Another lost belonging notification in the system. When am I going to find the time? Oh dear, a guest! Dreadfully sorry you had to hear my complaint. How unprofessional of me. Hello, welcome to Paradiso. Dirk Huddleston at your service. Do you need assistance checking in for your reservation? Oh, no, nonsense. Just a small scheduling issue. Some of our guests have misplaced their belongings, and I am responsible for finding and returning said belongings. Just one of the many services we are happy to provide here at Paradiso. Nothing to worry you about. May I continue to check you in? You're not? Perhaps you'd allow me to persuade you to reconsider? We have the finest amenities within or outside of the settled systems. If you do change your mind, or if you need anything at all, I am here to help. Broad question, but I'll try my best. Paradiso is the premier resort destination in the known universe. This planet is as perfect as one could possibly imagine, That is, assuming pristine beaches, constant beautiful sunny weather, and fabulous resort accommodations are to your liking. For one, our hotel rooms are quite luxurious. The executive suite is especially posh, but perpetually booked. However, I must say, even the economy rooms are exceedingly pleasant. You'll find our beach relaxing, and we have several top-notch shops and dining experiences. I particularly enjoy a spot of afternoon tea from Tranquility. Of course, we also have the galaxy's only gourmet chunks. And if you're feeling adventurous, I believe the Enhance is still running a very popular Paradiso Getaway Special. Parima 2 is owned independently by the Paradiso Group. We exist outside of the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, yet entertain visitors from both. The Paradiso Group is run by several board members, many of whom take residence within the resort itself. They established the resort as a getaway for all on the most beautiful planet in the universe, and I can tell you that there were substantial monetary investments to make sure of that. Oh no, you're on vacation. I wouldn't dream of asking a guest, or a non-guest as the case may be, to find other guests' lost belongings. But if you want to take a look at the list in the system and you happen to find anything while you're out and about, I suppose it would help me out. Please, don't feel obligated, however. Thank you again for staying with us.
If I could just stay here forever.
No one's going to care if I call out sick from work for another week, right?
Hey, sorry. Didn't mean to be rude and ignore you when you came in. I'm just trying to figure out the solution to a problem I'm having. What can I do for you? Ah, well, I'm not sure if you know this, but most coffee is synthetically created. Ours is 100% organic. Made from coffee beans rescued from Earth hundreds of years ago, and cultivated by Cafe Luxe authorized growers. Trust me, you can really taste the difference between our real coffee and the other, stuff. Not bad. Well, it'd be a little better if that Tranquility went within spitting distance. I'm not saying anyone should spit on Tranquility, by the way. Just maybe don't buy their tea. Drink coffee instead, yeah? Yeah. Matter of fact, I am. We keep losing business to Tranquility. It seems like they're always trying new things, new recipes. And well, we just have the same old coffee here. I have an idea, but I don't know if I have the skills to pull it off. I need help from someone who's good at getting others to do what they want. Or good at, stealing. What I'm proposing may not be entirely legal, and even if I could succeed, I fear the risk is too great for me. A tea sommelier from Tranquility Corporate is on vacation here. I overheard them talking to Polly about some new tea product they're working on. If you could convince them, or otherwise get the recipe before it goes to market, I'm sure it will help me succeed. Maybe I can even move up the corporate ladder. All I know is that the sommelier has the recipe on a slate. Do whatever you want with that information. I just need that recipe. If they won't tell you the recipe, do whatever you can. Well, except for using violence. I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. I hope so. This could be the big break I'm looking for.
Hi, you've got good taste. Come in here. What would you like?
I'm not much
Hello.
of a beach person,
Welcome to
but everyone
Tranquility.
talks about this place.
If you
So,
fancy a
I had to see
cuppa,
for
we have some
myself.
new and classic blends that are sure to satisfy even the most discerning tea aficionado. Whether you want to relax at the end of the day or energize yourself while watching the latest Red Mile feed. You know, I thought you looked familiar. I think I've seen you in the feed before. I can't believe I'm talking to another runner. I'm a big fan of the Red Mile. You know Donovan Reese? He once came and ordered tea at our little shop. I think I died a little when he kissed my hand. If you ever run into him, tell him I still remember. Aye, that's the spirit. It's not like you'll find a better drink over at Cafe Lux, am I right? So, what can I get for you today? Well, if you want something strong, we have Earl Grey, breakfast, or classic black tea. If you want something relaxing, we have chamomile or easy sleep. But if you want something more exotic to tickle your fancy, might I suggest lotus or sunray? Thanks for choosing us over Cafe Lux over there.
I wish I had booked a stay for longer.
It's lovely here.
Can't wait for my shift to be over. So I can
Welcome to Paradiso Gift Shop and Convenience. Feel free to look around, but don't break anything or you've got to buy it. And before you ask, there aren't any discounts, so don't even try to haggle with me. Why would I? I have to sell overpriced crap to rude, obnoxious tourists all day. My uncle works for the Paradiso board. When he said he could get me a job here, I expected an executive-level job, not this. But it's not all bad. I don't have to worry about getting fired, and I live in Paradiso for free. Now, can I get you something, or are you going to keep asking questions about my life? Okay, take a look. There you go.
Enjoy your stay, knowing you're in our capable hands.
This is probably the best vacation I've ever taken.
Hey, hope you're enjoying yourself.
There are so many activities I'm looking forward to doing, but I'm just having a good time relaxing.
Everything here is a little more expensive than what I expected. Guess that's how they get you.
I'm on vacation because I don't want to be bothered by anyone.
Hope you're staying safe out there.
let me know if I'm able to help with anything. Between you and me, I'm kinda glad most of the execs never show up to work.
Don't worry about us.
Excuse me, you can't just waltz in there. Do you have an appointment? Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then. Do you need anything else from me before you meet with the board? I can't speak for anyone else, but I've got a pretty high-pressure job working as the executive assistant to the Paradiso board. You can imagine, dealing with a team of execs, trying to manage all of their schedules and their other whims. But it pays well, and they give me a nice executive suite at the hotel to live in, so it's not all bad. Free access to all the resort's amenities after work helps too. People were a little freaked out around here, understandably. It looks so different and it's so massive. We honestly thought we were under attack by an unknown entity. But then, nothing happened. It just stayed there. No one could communicate with it. And we've been very careful not to alert the resort guests. The board believed it would be bad for business. What I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical C-level execs. I doubt you even need to use your imagination for that. The ones that show up to work day to day, at least. I swear, I've never even met some of them, because they chill at their own private, secluded beach homes all the time. Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without you realizing it. And that's all I'll say. Sure. Have fun in the shark tank. And don't worry, even they call it that.
I just feel that we should be focusing on the natural beauty of this planet, not our amenities.
There are millions of planets out there. People can go to any one of them. The resort facilities are precisely what we bring to the table. Heck, it's the only thing we've really got to offer.
I don't want to risk us coming off as just another artificial, shady, trash-filled dump like Neon. That's not who we are. We've got something special here. We should embrace that.
Blom's right.
Thank you.
We don't want to compete with Neon. Bayou's ruthless. He'll do anything he can to eliminate the competition. We don't need that kind of trouble. That being said, I think there's a middle ground. Maybe build up the beachfront in a boardwalk amusement park. I've had this idea to build artificial hot springs, that sort of thing.
Sounds good. I'll look into what that will cost us and we can circle back around to this.
With a name like Paradiso,
Come on, mate.
the marketing
Loads
for this
more
place
interesting
writes
things to see
itself.
outside. No need to mill about in here. No, of course not. There's several more. We're just the ones who show up day to day. The others spend their time lazing on the beach or gallivanting off-world. Doesn't bother me, though. Less cooks in the kitchen means I get to make all the big decisions around here. Seems to be working out for us just fine. We, the Paradiso Group, bought the rights to this planet years ago with the intent of turning it into the biggest and best resort in the universe. To that end, I'd say we've succeeded. As such, no other leisure enterprises may operate on the planet without renting land from us. But as you can see, none can afford such a deal. Not quite. We just don't answer to the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. Makes things easier. We don't pay any taxes, we don't need to follow their laws. All the benefits, none of the drawbacks. And no one minds, because half the politicians and other big shots love vacationing here. Works for everyone. I am. And you must be the diplomat Giro told me about. Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm gonna cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there, causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens! We run a premier resort getaway here. We can't have our guests concocting stories about some bodgy old ship hanging around up there. As it is, we've had to reroute our luxury liners around the other side of the planet on entry so no one sees it. It's bad for business. We need to nip this in the bud and take care of it before the tourists catch on and cause a scene. Ah, we're being direct then. Good on you. So, what do you know about this dodgy ship I'm hearing all about? Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work. Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map. What do you think?
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
Oh, I swear this would be a lot easier if they ceased to exist entirely. Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do. Oh, I didn't say that specifically. This would be a mutual contract for room and board in exchange for services rendered. Of course, there's no telling how long this arrangement will last, given the substantial costs we'd need to take on in order to accommodate them here, including their continued room and board. But this may save the resort on operating costs in the long term, as we'd be able to let go of some of our current paid staff. It's not our responsibility to bear the brunt of that cost. We're being more than generous by offering the use of our engineering team to help install it. A custom grav drive can't come cheap, and I assume they have neither the monetary means nor the connections to get a hold of that kind of technology. That leaves the only other party in this negotiation. You. I'm not suggesting anything, other than it would make our lives so much easier if that ship ceased existing. Make of that what you will. We own this planet, they don't. Here at Paradiso, we don't like leaving things to chance. Who knows what these people will do with their land? Imagine the landscaping disasters they might come up with, and how that might mar the satellite imagery of the planet in our brochures. No, much better to assimilate them into our culture if they come here to live, rather than leave it to chance. Well, absurd or not, that's our official stance. I make the decisions that are best for our entire group. You don't. And which proposal will you be taking to the good captain? I assume there's a captain? Ah, good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, it'd be him. We'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return, though you may have to help the Constance engineers prepare for it on their end. Good luck.
They deserve a renewed chance to decide their own fates. That is the right thing to do.
Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group, we appreciate your help.
If you've heard about us elsewhere, chances are it's because of me.
I don't really get paid to chat with guests.